Good morning, lovely people. How is everybody doing tonight? It is a wonderful, wonderful evening that I am quite excited to share with all of you. I am, of course, Andy Armstrong, your host, and welcome to Glass Panes, Episode 3. With me is, of course, my trusty sidekick, a loyal friend, the donkey to my Shrek, Derek Damaran. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, how's everyone doing? Hey, Andy, thanks for the introduction.
Of course, of course. An introduction is the best part of the podcast, if I do say so myself.
Definitely.
And for the viewers out there, we have quite the slate lined up for you today. We have a few select guests that I am quite excited to share with you. They are friend of the podcast, people that you may have seen before, but I'm not going to go into spoilers just yet. And of course, as always, considering that Derek has his soundboard at his leisure, that means warning to everyone who may be sensitive to loud noises. But before we continue any further, just like
Sorry, that one came a little late. Sorry, Andy.
Of course, no problem at all, Derek. But before we continue with the program, I wanted to take to address the horrific events circling our nation this past week. 12 days ago, George Floyd was brutally murdered in broad daylight, as three of his colleagues watched on and looked. That one video has now become the spark that has lit the passion and fervor of resistance across the United States and beyond, as hundreds of thousands of people have walked out into the streets to demand justice for Floyd and for hundreds of years of anti-Black oppression. Hell, all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Germany, the UK, and more have cried out for justice in America, for the lives and livelihoods lost under a system that has pushed African Americans and other people of color to the bottom of society. I, of course, am white. I live in Ames, Iowa, for God's sakes. Our town's population is only 2.6% Black as of 2019 population estimates. Or in other words, I have a lot to learn, especially since my sheltered existence has kept problems of racial injustice out of my life for a very, very long time. And yet, I also know that I will never be able to understand. I will never have to fear for my life every time my car is pulled over. I won't have to worry for the fact that I might lose my life every time a police officer looks at me for longer than a passing glance. There are so many hardships that I won't have to endure simply because my skin color looks like mayonnaise. All I know is that everyone has a part to play in ending the injustices that have become all too real in the past week and a half. Everyone can donate, share resources, call their representatives, and even march if they are safe to do so. Posting a black fucking square on Instagram isn't nearly enough. To everyone watching, I hope you are safe and secure in these turbulent times. But I also hope you understand the gravity of this monumental time in our lives. Anything to add, Derek?
What I say isn't going to be as eloquent as what Andy just said, but I guess I'd say stand up for each other. You know, we are a society. We're not a pack of wolves, and we're not lambs to the slaughter. We are human beings. We take care of each other, and we fight for what's right, for each other's survival. That includes Black people and people of any color. So please remember that.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Andy.
Anyways, on to maybe a more lighter mood for our audiences. We will now continue with the program. And as such, the light bulb comes on. Anyways, our program will start with our first guest. You may or may not know her from certain escapades on Instagram Live. She is a good friend of ours and also a friend to our podcast and an aspiring educator. She is talented as much as she is beautiful. Everyone, please welcome Christine Cameron.
Thank you. Aw,
The applause continues. You're quite a popular bunch for us and our audience. Anyways, how are you, Chris? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's cooling down. The sun is setting, and I just had a really good dinner and doing good. How about you, Andy?
I'm doing pretty well. Been just relaxing, preparing this, sipping my patented Andy Armstrong water.
Ooh.
Patented.
Available in stores near you for $2.99.
What makes it so special, Andy?
Oh, I can't tell you that because that's a business secret.
Right.
That sounds like biohazard.
Hey, I don't tell you how to do your job. You don't tell me how to do mine. Anyways, I wanted to start off with a question that may or may not be on people's minds. But if people aren't aware, Chris here is a avid camer on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
I wanted you to maybe...
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you.
But I would like to ask you kind of more about it. What is camming to you? You know, what does it look like from your perspective? What does it look like on your side of the camera?
Well, my cell phone double-sided taped to the side of my bookcase with a bunch of tapestries thrown up over my cabinets and stuff like that. That's what it visually looks like from my side. That what you're asking about?
I mean, that's one way to answer the question. It's open-ended. It's on you, the interviewee, to give me the answers. So it seems like it's quite the humble affair, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, right now it definitely is. I'm kind of just playing around with this for fun. It's not a professional thing, or I'm not making any money from it, and I don't really have like the loose funds to like get all this expensive equipment.
I
but I don't really need it for what I'm doing. I'm kind of just fucking around on Instagram Live, as you do.
Fair. So you say it's just fucking around, but there has to be a reason why you're doing it, especially now. So I wanted to ask you, why?
Why? Well, why not? Like, really? Like, why not?
Hey, I'm the one asking questions here, not you.
I mean, truly, like, I just do it because I really missed like getting dressed and like going out and feeling really hot and going to those parties y'all dragged me to like get your drunk asses home. I miss that feeling. I do. I miss that feeling just a little bit. And so I was watching some other girls who were camming on Instagram, and I thought, they seem like they're having a lot of fun. I wonder what that's about. And I also got really into shibari and some kink. And so I was like, well, let's put them all together in a pie and try this.
So on average, how many viewers do you think you get like per session? What's the audience size?
Honestly, not that many, like maybe 30, like every time I stream total.
All right. That's not a bad number, especially in the beginnings of your career.
Yeah.
So I also want to kind of piggyback back off of that, specifically in regards to the audience. How does the audience look like? Is it, mostly fans? Do people, support you? Are there people that maybe are there to troll you? How does camming experience work with people that can look at you?
Well, as far as I can tell, so I'm really bad at staying on top of my chat, because I kind of just disappear into like my own headspace with this. But other than that, gosh, I really do think that like I get mostly good comments. Like I get people who are like really supportive and like who like say like, what kind of lipstick are you wearing, or like those are cool lashes, which make me really, really good because I have no idea what I'm doing in terms of oh god, like makeup. Like Bailey's been really helpful. I do get the occasional hater. Usually I don't catch them until later though, and then I just block that account. But I think I've been really lucky. Like I know that people can have some really bad reactions, but I don't think I've been as unfortunate as I could have been.
I see. So what you're telling me is that you haven't had any negative run-ins that have kind of ruined your experience. If anything, they're just a piece of shit on chat, and you're like, all right, bye.
Yeah. You know, when it's only one or two just peppered in, and I can just block them, and they're not people I know. Like for the most part, I can just kind of like set it in the back of my head. It doesn't matter. like I'm not really doing this for anybody else but me. So other opinions are kind of just like, you know, fuck off with them, I guess. You know, I don't give a shit. If it was someone I know, maybe like it would feel more uncomfortable. But I don't know. I just you know, fuck men. It's just there are usually men.
Yeah, Derek does want to wants to hear that slogan quite often, preferably in rather raunchy settings, but I digress.
Fuck men any way you can. Yeah.
Anyways, kind of still on the topic of audiences, I was wondering, not necessarily on the negative side, but on the positive side.
Oh hell yeah!
Do you have any secret admirers? People that maybe, you know, type you in the DM and are like, "Hey, baby, I'll do anything for you. I'll fly you out to Las Vegas and we can be together." Or, you know, maybe the more romantic version of that, which is just an unsolicited dick pic, right?
Yeah. I get a lot of those. Those are great. I love getting those random penises in my inbox. You ever wonder why women don't send like pictures of their pussies just randomly? Just thought, just, you know,
they don't.
You know, just outside tangent. No, Derek, they don't. At least.
Well, shoot.
Not without someone saying, "Hey, can I see your pussy?" And then sure.
I see.
But makes anyway, side tangent. Yeah. There are definitely people who decide to be a little bit too complimentary in my inbox. Most of the time it's kind of like, oh, okay, haha, nice. Sometimes it's
I'm never talking to you again.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like the dick pics, easy block, just like whatever. Like I said, I don't need to cater to anybody. I have that like unique privilege of just doing this for fun. And there's kind of like a safety there for that too, because I literally can do whatever the fuck I want, and it doesn't really affect anything. And my favorite secret admirers are like when like people I know like find it and they're like, oh, okay, and we get to have this whole conversation.
Like a old flame from middle school. It's like, wow, you grew up so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, it's almost like, you know, time's passed.
Imagine that.
Crazy.
Or even more recent secret admirers, like certain ones that like to operate tech booths for certain podcasts.
Oh yeah, Derek is very supportive. I love it when Derek hops on my streams.
I've been to a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Very nice, Derek.
They're a good way to spend your time, you know? It just like it's good white noise in the background.
Hey, we don't need an explanation. We get it.
Okay.
You know what? You gotta have support. I should ask, you know, why you haven't been on my streams more often, Andy, huh?
Hey, I've been on there. I've been doing my research for this podcast, and I've tried my best.
We watched one together, actually.
I have 9 weeks of chem homework backed up though, so I don't really have a ton of time. But yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
Anyways, I wanted to maybe ask a little bit about more the technical side of things, because as you know, I am a world-renowned cinematographer, you know, a blazing beacon of glory and artistic talent. Obviously being modest there. But
very modest.
I wanted to actually ask on a more serious note, what does the technical experience look like? Do you create like elaborate sets and have fun with lights? And do you put, your phone in like different perfect angles to like capture the right shot? Or do you just like slap your phone just against the book and, like you said, tape it, but kind of more nonchalantly and just do whatever the hell strikes your fancy?
So Bailey helped me a little bit with like setting up kind of a little like alcove over my bed. We shoved these, well, I shoved them, but Bailey was like on video chat with me, shoved them like behind the cabinets. And yeah, I bought these cool lights and I made my space like special.
Ooh.
It's nothing fancy, but I definitely like created this environment for this like Chris persona to live in, because that was really what I wanted to play with, was like stepping a little bit more into like bad bitch Chris for a night, if you know what I mean.
I think I do. And I guess a quick follow-up question after that. Are there any plans to upgrade in the future?
I mean, if anybody wants to fund my upgrade, sure, but I don't have
viewers out there,
money.
if you hear this, Chris needs an upgrade.
Chris,
Derek, if you help me set up a cool like cam section area,
I was gonna say,
totally.
if you lock down the funds, I could definitely give you some of the good recommendations. For,
hell yeah.
Best times would be in person. If I do recommend myself something like that. But anyways,
good point, Andy.
But anyways, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on and sharing a little bit of yourself and your experiences with us. We do like to frame our realities a little differently on this podcast, so we appreciate it, and I bet the viewers appreciate it too. But before you go, I do want to ask you to stay on, because I do have a surprise for you after the next interviewee section.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you much more, but you might like it. So just hang around, stick with the chat, and just stay cool. Anyways, thank you, Chris, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Andy, for having me.
Got that applause. Very nice. Very nice. Anyways, any quick thoughts, Derek?
I didn't know that you were gonna talk about me watching the stream, Andy.
Hey, dude, it's fine. I watched the stream too. It's friends supporting friends.
Yeah, I guess.
Cheers to that, my friend.
You know what? Cheers.
Hey. Anyways, I think it is time for our next guest. Viewers, yeah. I would like you to welcome another dear friend of ours and a friend of this podcast, a very talented architect student about to graduate this year, and also a very talented Overwatch streamer and player. Charismatic, lovely, and talented. Everybody, please welcome Bailey Bossa Baxton.
Hey, boys.
Hello. Hey. How's it hanging, Bailey?
I gotta say, not awesome, but we're still kicking. We're hanging in here.
Well, I mean, what can we do other than hang in there with everything that's going on? Have you heard about the new AIMS restrictions? They might be lifting them soon.
Yes, I am getting rather excited about that, especially with my parents starting to actually chill out a little bit more. It's going to be nice, but obviously it's also a scary situation to be opening up more now.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, both me and Bailey are Ames, Iowa natives, or locals, as you would like to call it. So it is quite the accomplishment. And we get to share the quarantine experience together, which is quite nice. Truly, it would be nice if we weren't trapped in our own little home bubbles, but what can you do? But speaking of similar experiences, we do have the similar experiences of living in the same place. But we both know that our quarantine experiences are fundamentally different. What you've been doing is going to be completely different from what I've been doing with my time. So I just wanted to ask, and especially for the viewers, just in a few sentences, what have you been doing in quarantine to keep yourself sane?
Ooh.
Oh, well, I'll admit a lot of over cleaning, just to keep my brain from going crazy.
Mhm.
Obviously there's a lot of family activities. Like, I think coming home made me realize just how much of my time is actually taken up with my family when I'm home. Like,
Mhm.
it completely, like, I'll have plans for the day, and then all of a sudden it's like everything's thrown out the window. Like, I can get like 1 hour of work done. And then obviously I've been streaming as my main activity. So that's been real
Mhm.
fun. And that is another similarity we share because you're practically my co-host.
I mean, what can I say? I also do dabble in the overwatching, as it were. If any of you are interested, go to twitch.tv/BOSSAOW for more content. And for more Andy content where he isn't as
Yes.
proper and nice as he is on this podcast. Can
You
I
know,
mainly do the watching.
Andy, I'd actually really like to give you a shout out at this moment because it's just, I'm really proud of you for being able to keep your mouth shut for 30 seconds while your interviewees answer your
Oh.
questions.
Well, what can I say? It's called character growth, and I've been trying my best to accommodate other viewpoints, especially on a podcast, which is about talking to other people. I mean, imagine the podcast just being me talking for an hour and a half. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd still probably be
Sounds
pretty
good to
great,
me.
but
I'll admit I'd listen to it.
well, thank you. But thank you, Derek. Always ready with the great reactions.
Yeah.
But I guess on a more intellectual note, I wanted to ask more about the streaming, but not necessarily about the technical aspects, about how it works, what it looks like on your side. Everybody knows that you hop on a game and you just yell at people that don't do well online.
That's what you do, Andy.
No, it's what everyone does. But I wanted to ask, with streaming, personally, what does that do for you, especially in quarantine where you've been doing it so much more often?
Yeah.
What is the drive, and what do you get out of streaming video games for anonymous viewers online?
Well, I gotta say, I definitely think it's like a two-part kind of reason, So I would say the first part is definitely like the confidence boost it gives me. Like, it's something I'm good at and something I enjoy. And the fact that I get to share that with other people who are like actively willing to watch me do something I enjoy is really cool. So it's a bit of an ego boost, bit of a confidence boost. And then obviously the other half is like the social factor. Like, I get to spend basically every night with you, Andy, and then Derek's now playing too. So it's a really fun time. And you also like meet cool people playing sometimes. Like, not everyone's bad online. Like, it can be a good time.
You hear that, chat? There is hope for you to meet someone that isn't a shithead on the internet. But kind of piggybacking off of that about audiences, I asked this question of Chris earlier, but what is your relationship with your audience? How does the audience factor into your gaming experience? Because obviously we can just we can play the games ourselves with each other, which I guess to a degree fulfills that social aspect. But what about the audience? What does that do for you?
Oh yeah. One thing that I generally have missed a lot during COVID is just like, those like minor interactions you might have with like classmates who aren't like actually your friends, but like it still kind of feels like you are. I feel like that about my stream is this kind of like, it fulfills this interaction of like, because those are always what give me like hope throughout the day. That's always what reminds me of like, oh, like life is good and life has a lot of potential. And I think that's how my stream really makes me feel, is it's like I'm reaching out to new people who I don't know on a personal level, but like I'm still having these like fun banter interactions with. And obviously there are some people who are not that fun or entertaining, but
Buff dude.
Buff dude 69420.
Well,
But so it goes.
You mentioned hope in that tangent. which of course was very eloquently put, and I do appreciate you sharing your thoughts
Thank
with me.
you.
But Hope, kind of moving away from the Overwatch, reality of things, I wanted to ask, now that the restrictions are starting to lift, people are starting to walk outside, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
Or at least so it seems, until a gigantic tsunami wipes us all off the face of the continent, right? But I wanted to ask specifically, when you do finally manage to walk out and go to, your nearest restaurant or burger place, what is your prediction on how the world will look like to you specifically? Do you think the world will look better, worse, the same, so much different? I mean, this is a very existential question. Obviously, it's pretty fucking loaded. But I did want to ask, kind of, what does the future look like for Bailey Baxton?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now is a very existential time. Like, I know I've just been sitting in my head a lot these past few days. I definitely think things are going to be permanently changing, especially here in the US. Like, this is such a society of individualism, and like this epidemic we're going through, and then even now with all the BLM protests and stuff like that, it's really emphasizing the power of community and also the impact your actions really do have on other people, which is, I think, something we don't really think about that often. For me, I definitely think there's going to be long-term changes with how I feel about my own personal space. I know I get stressed out even just being around more than like 7 people nowadays. And same for like personal hygiene and like just like how I interact with strangers. I think it's going to be a permanent change, but I don't want to say negative for those aspects. I think this has been a time for us to learn, and it's just sad that it has to be at the significant cost of our experiences right now. I think long term, like, I can't say things are going to be positive or negative in the long term, because at some point they're going to be negative and at some point they're going to be positive. But I am hoping that at the end of the tunnel, it is a better outcome than currently.
Very interesting. Very interestingly put. Thank you for that. I wanted to ask now to maybe come back a little to the present. You have a brother. That's correct, right? Has graduation season and the start of summer looked like in your household with someone who has, not been able to experience, the rite of passage that really is this part of his life?
Yeah, so, well, obviously you don't know because you're an only sibling, and we can all tell.
I don't know what would give that away. I'm perfectly well-adjusted, and I don't need this right now.
Okay, it's a podcast. I'll go easy on you. But yeah, no, he actually had graduation just the other day. It was kind of interesting. There wasn't like an order for the graduation. Everyone just drove by. They had like teachers and staff outside to like still celebrate the graduation, but completely different experience than sitting in the hot sun for fucking 4 hours or whatever in the middle of a football field. So a little bit preferable for that, I gotta say. But of course, like, it's just an interesting parallel because I'm a senior in college and he's a senior in high school, and we're both missing out on these really standard opportunities, like these quintessential growing up experiences.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's one reason why I know I complain about him bringing his girlfriend over sometimes, but that is like something I am really glad he has, because I especially can't imagine in high school being in isolation like this. Like, I'm lucky to have you guys in college even.
Well, we're always here for you, Bailey, no matter what. But I did want to ask about Jenny.
Oh, yes.
Our lovely mutual acquaintance.
Drama.
How has your relationship with Jenny evolved over these last few weeks? Because, like we all know, it wasn't that great to begin with, and has it become better? Has it become worse? Is it the same? What is
I
going
would
on
say
there?
mixed bag. Like, I wish I could say it has become better, but it's
Mhm.
functionally just adding one more person to this tiny household that
Yeah.
obviously is going to increase a lot of stress in this situation.
Mhm.
But I do think I understand her more. So I don't know if our
Mm.
relationship has necessarily improved, but I do think it's important to like recognize that I do understand her and her behaviors a lot more at this point.
Mhm. I see.
Yeah,
I
and I'll
see.
I'll shut on her on Overwatch. This is your podcast.
This can go public, and this could potentially reach Jenny in the
Ooh,
future.
don't like that. Sorry, Jenny.
Billy, do you want to plug your stream?
I mean, Andy already did, but I'll plug my stream all day. Yeah, go to twitch.whatever/BOSSAOW. Or
Not
follow
only
Andy
plugs
on
his
Instagram.
stream and is eloquent in her remarks, but doesn't even care about the exposure. Twitch dot whatever, so humble and so collected in the face of praise and publicity. Isn't that right, Bailey?
That's right.
2 peas in a pod is what you are.
Unfortunately, a very, very long pod, if it were.
Long
But
Podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, I did
well
one.
That was
said.
real smart, Derek. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, Bailey.
Man, imagine thinking of that. That's pretty impressive. No, I'm razzing on you, Derek. You know that, and we all like to have fun here.
Mhm.
Speaking of fun,
Yeah,
though,
fun.
audiences, if you're not
Oh.
aware, there is a certain national holiday that me, Derek, Bailey, and sometimes Chris do observe at times. It is a very important. It is a very important ritual in our friend group that we engage in,
Oh God.
hopefully every day, and it is one that is very near and dear to my heart. Bailey, I think you might be starting to get what I'm trying to
You
get.
know,
at.
I was actually really confused at the beginning because it's actually an international holiday.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
This doesn't stop within the borders of the United States.
Exactly. So, Derek, if you ever move to Germany, this will not escape you because you know
Mhm.
what it is?
I don't like where this is going.
It's Razzaclock, baby!
Razzaclock.
So, viewers, if you don't know, Derek is a very easy target for razzing by me and Bailey. And as
I wouldn't
such,
say easy, you know.
Oh,
I mean, okay, we'll
Honey.
take you at your word. But speaking of easy, you know what is easy? Not being scared to death of birds.
yeah,
Birds
that's
and don't do anything except eat bugs and nuts.
Derek. Do you have
I-
anything to say for yourself?
Yes, Bailey, I do. I think that birds are terrible creatures. Okay, they are disgraces to humankind. They just shit on you whenever you're trying to eat a sandwich or play in the sand, and it's
So
they're abominations.
sensitive.
We got to get rid of them. Get rid of the birds.
Do you
Okay?
have like a tragic backstory around this? Like,
Bailey, I've said this to you a
do you
million
have a tragic
times.
backstory that you want to share with the audience?
Do you need some catharsis on this podcast? Bailey?
Yeah.
So I was at Tom's house. Andy, you know Tom, right?
No, because this was when you were a little kid.
Well,
We
so
know Tom Miss,
Okay.
but that's a different guy.
That's
So
a
Tom-
different guy.
So Tom had this parrot, and the parrot's name was, I think it was Perry or Peter. You know what? Who cares about the stupid parrot? Okay. So I'm sitting on his
Who cares?
couch, and then I'm just minding my own business. I'm looking at the clock, and I feel this like this warm substance, this like liquid goo all down my shoulder.
Delicious, Derek. Thank you for sharing. 'Cause I don't know if we are going to be able to monetize this if you
Sorry.
continue.
If you keep doing
Jeez,
that.
jeez, God, I'm
But
sorry.
you know
Okay.
what?
Long story
It's
short, the bird
interesting.
shit on me.
Yeah, long story short, the bird shit on him and he's been traumatized ever since. So
So you know what I do want to touch upon? If you're so afraid of birds, how are you going to muster the courage to frontline the most egregious injuries of our time as a male nurse, or as you like to put it, a MRS?
You guys razzing me about Merce now, huh? Okay,
There's just so much material.
Listen, I studied mercery just so I could get away from birds. Okay,
Mercery,
so I wouldn't have to deal
Mersology.
with them. I brought in Chris.
All right,
Chris?
I just have to pop in to comment on mercery.
Chris, I thought you were going to
Felt a
help me.
little-
That's what you said to me when I asked you to
did
come
help
on.
you, but then you said something that you said mercery.
Mercery is
This is
the
what
study of
Derek
You're on
does.
the right side, Chris. You're on the right side.
Okay, but
God.
really, you guys should be nicer to him about his bird phobia. You can't help it.
Thank you, Chris. It's
Oh.
a trauma. It's terrifying.
You can go to a therapist about it.
Although I do have a question.
Shakes me to my core. Yeah.
What do you do about all the bird art at the hospital?
Chris.
That's a low blow, Chris. That's
What?
really
It's a
that was
real
really
question.
uncalled for.
It's a
Truly,
question I ask
truly
out
a
of
resident.
love and care for your mental health.
I'll work somewhere else. They have good taste in art in Pittsburgh. Okay, they're not going to put birds in
Pittsburgh.
the
full of
hospital.
Exactly.
It's not called
Well,
Pittsburgh. It's
okay.
Pittsburgh. Okay,
What
there's
is
no birds.
what is even more
Leave me
juicy
alone.
about this whole situation, Bailey? It seems like we have two lovers quarreling
Oh no.
amongst each other.
Aw.
Oh,
And
No.
here we see a
Oh.
perfect example of
No.
protection.
Yeah, no loves here. No lovers.
Mm.
No lovers.
No?
Wow, you're breaking
Aw,
Chris's
you don't have to.
heart.
You
Yeah,
don't have
this
to be
is really
humble,
sad to
Derek. We should
see.
tell them about our successful Pornhub. I feel like they should know our success. So much views.
yeah.
We make so much money.
Our
Derek
Pornhub
is very
channel.
good at using the floggers. Very
Okay,
good.
I don't.
You know,
Yeah.
Wow,
okay,
Derek, I
okay.
didn't know you had
Vlog
this
we are
side to
very, very
yourself.
famous on Pornhub.
We've got a
So,
huge portfolio
watch your
amongst other
words.
things, you know.
Yeah, you know what? We're the
Ah.
dynamic duo. You keep
And
teasing us about
Andy, you
it.
mentioned like a surprise later in the podcast.
Oh, fuck
This is not my favorite segment so far, that's for sure.
Are you guys done?
So long.
Oh, Derek, oh, I love you, buddy. But yes,
I hate
Bailey,
Reservoir.
you are right. There was a promised surprise for both Chris and you. You see, in ancient Rome, there was this time-honored tradition to bring the populations together under one holiday or series of holidays together to celebrate culture and art and
A lot of
people.
holidays.
And just coming together as a community for each other. And of course, I'm talking about the Colosseum and gladiator fights where people were murdered ruthlessly for others' entertainment. Why am I saying all this random historical crap?
That's what I'm
Well,
asking.
because you two will engage in a gladiator fight. But not just a gladiator fight with arms and swords and armor and blood and decapitation and scary animals. No,
Ooh.
you will be fighting amongst each other.
Scary animals?
You're going to be fighting amongst each other.
You can't bring your own animal, Chris. That's not allowed.
Oh.
Are you sure? Help me if I need to.
Guys, we gotta let Andy finish. He got so close to the mic.
Sorry.
I
Andy.
almost did.
So close.
You see, Chris, funny you should mention that because I don't think Steve is going to help you in this. Because instead of swords and fighting, you are going to have a battle of wits, a test of intellect to see who can come out on top with the biggest of brains.
Andy, did you just need to deliver a 4-minute monologue to say we're doing a trivia night?
I'm ready.
It's not a trivia night. It's gladiator night. Anyways, what I do want to say, my dear friends, is that you are going to answer just three simple questions, and whoever gets more points is going to get $5 whole sent directly from my bank account to your Venmo as a reward for your heightened intelligence.
Mhm.
Are you both ready for the fight?
Absolutely.
I was born ready.
All right. I am glad you said that.
Oh,
All right.
we look winning.
Anyways, question number 1. What is the name of the black hole in the center of the Milky Way?
Oh, Snickers.
Derek, no, and you're also not a contestant. So apologize.
Andy's asshole.
Closer, but no.
Is it called the black hole at the center of the Milky Way?
Good catch.
I am so sorry, my friends, but all of you are unfortunately incorrect.
I don't know. I thought I was pretty correct.
The name of the black hole in the center of the Milky Way is called Sagittarius A. Thank you for playing. Anyways, question number 2.
Good fact.
What is the lifespan of the coral-banded shrimp?
Shrimp live long?
Can you give us how
Do
big
they?
is this shrimp?
Yeah, like what
Can
kind
we
of
get
shrimp
that?
is it? Like, is it the
Shrimp
kind of shrimp you
size.
eat, or like what is it?
It's the coral-banded shrimp.
I don't know
Fuck
what
you,
that
Andy.
is.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a year.
A year?
A year and
Okay.
2 months.
Interesting.
Chat is
Christine?
guessing too. Looks like 6 months, 12 years, 4 months,
900
34 days.
seconds.
Christine, time's a ticking. Come on. Come on.
I'm gonna go with like 3 years.
Andy.
Christine? You are correct! The coral-banded shrimp has a lifetime of, on average, of 2 to 3 years. Congratulations for winning this round.
Really?
Bailey, you are trailing 0-1. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel not great, Andy. How about you make the next
Oh.
one question for me?
Bailey, you got this.
Okay.
Which is lucky guess.
Derek.
All right, Bailey. Hopefully you
Step
do
it up,
get this
Bailey.
one.
Okay.
The last question is, and this is a social science question right here. Out of you two, the contestants,
I don't like this.
who is the more intelligent lad?
Well, neither one of us are lads, so
That's a point.
none of us. Is this a trick question?
The question remains, guys.
Well,
You know what I'm asking, Christine. You're not
No.
going to be able to worm
And
yourself
then
out of this one.
further, what kind of intelligence are you talking about? Are we talking about like crystalline intelligence, like fluid intelligence? Are we talking about emotional intelligence? Are we
I'm talking about
street smarts? Are we talking about book
Well,
smarts? What
hey,
kind of
I
intelligence are you
think
talking about, man.
I'm just gonna say me because I want a fucking point, Andy.
okay.
You know
Whoa.
what? You know what?
I love you, Kristen. You're very smart, but
I
I
love
want
you very much too, Bailey, which is why I'm gonna say you.
Well.
What a shocking turn.
We have the answers in. Chat and contestants, thank you for coming on to Gladiator Fight. The answer of this last question, well, the thing is, there isn't any answer, really. This wasn't a trivia question. This was a test of moral character. And unfortunately, Bailey, you have failed.
I think this is a little hypocritical, Andy, but okay.
Arrogance,
Okay.
self-love, narcissism. That's what some of us like to call a sin.
I'll see you in hell, Andy.
Pride is sinful. Christine, you are the winner of both the trivia portion and the moral quandary at the end of this section. So congratulations, the $5 will be in your bank account at the end of this podcast.
Now, does it also include the $5 you still owe me from the last bar crawl?
No, it will not. Anyways,
Then I
Bailey-
don't think you have anything to say about morality, my dear.
Well,
Bailey,
hey,
I know that you are quite distraught at your loss, and I wanted to
Aw.
assure you that this is not the end.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to let you know that there is a consolation prize.
He's outside with the radio. Well, open your window.
The consolation, of course, is not of any monetary value. It's not going to be money in your Venmo. Rather, it is a conditional one. Once the quarantine guidelines are lifted and we're able to leave our houses to engage in activities such as running around and going to restaurants and bars, I propose
love
to
running
you
around.
a meeting
Oh.
of epic proportions that would
Yes.
involve us going to a bar or multiple bars
I like
together
multiple
to
bars.
get destroyed, as the kids like to say. How
Get
does that sound as a
That
hello?
sounds great.
Wow.
Sounds like a date to me.
Sounds like a date.
Oh. Huh.
Hey,
How about that?
we're gonna take it as we see. Anyways, I do hope I actually do get to see you very soon, Bailey, and I say that from the
Yes.
bottom of my heart.
I think it's very likely.
Chris, thank you very much for coming onto here and being such a good sport and being the most morally pure out of all of us.
God, she really is, huh?
Yeah, I'm very pure. Very, very pure.
Anyways, that is it for you two, my friends. Thank you again for coming onto Glass Panes, the podcast that is hosted by yours truly and Derek Damaran. Your contributions to the discussion about life, Overwatch, idiots on the internet, well, we do appreciate a lot. Truly. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
And
Andy.
stay
Of
classy.
course. And I
Bye,
really love all
guys.
you guys. I'll talk to you
love
later.
Same.
See you on Overwatch, Andy and Derek and Chris.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right. Any reactions, Derek?
Well, as predicted, I did not love Rouse O'Clock. I'm gonna be honest. Probably my least favorite segment that you do, but still good because all your segments are good.
Well, thank you, my friend.
And that gladiator fight was a battle of the ages, if I do say so
That was
myself, Andy.
truly, I mean, entertainment worthy of a Roman emperor. I mean, truly.
Emperor Andy, yeah.
Emperor Andy, oh, if only we can make that happen, the world would be such a better place. Anyways, our third guest is
Third guest?
do we have a third guest?
No, I thought you just wanted Chris and Bailey, and then we would wrap up, or we would do some funny bits, and then sign off.
Well, that's quite the conundrum, isn't it, Derek? We need to fill more time. I mean, it's only been 15 minutes, and podcasts, as you know, need to be long and egregious.
Right.
Fuck it. Do you want to pull someone from the audience?
Andy, that is genius idea. Yeah, let's do it.
What can I say?
They love you. You love them. It's a match.
All right, chat. Who wants to be in frame of mind? Please type in the chat and we will get you online.
Let's see.
We got quite the
a lot of hands raised, yeah.
How about we go with who's that Vern person?
I don't know. Let's
cool
find
name.
out. You want Vern?
Cool name. Yeah.
All right.
Want to patch her in?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Glass Panes, the best talk show on YouTube. My name is Andy Armstrong, but you obviously already know that because you've been watching us. But I wanted to ask, straight off the bat, no bullshit. Let's just get right into it.
Ooh.
I like it.
Who are you?
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Well, my name is Veronica. I go by Vern or V. As long as you don't call me Ronnie, we're good. Nothing against the name Ronnie, of course. That's just not my name. Let's see. Who am I? Wow. I'm a student. I'm a barista. I am one of the managers of a student-run theater company. I'm a daughter. I'm a partner. I'm a friend. I'm a dog mom. And a creative thinker.
Oh, well, we always need more of those, don't we, Derek? Thinking is quite the rare gift, and I mean, only the talented few can engage in that, especially creative. I mean, come on. What is the universe asking of us? Anyways, unless you are immune to death or a god of some sorts, you have also been living in isolation, quarantine, whatever during this whole pandemic.
Huh.
What I wanted to ask you is, just like I've asked the other people on my podcast, is what is your experience look like? Because we don't know who you are. Well, we kind of do now, but we do want to learn more about the wealth of experiences out there in the world.
Fair enough. Let's see. So it's definitely been an adjustment, going from seeing so many people every day between work and school to, being inside almost all day, every day, with a few exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's definitely been an adjustment. To be honest, some days are definitely better than others. Some days, it just feels a little quieter, a little lonelier. But not every day is like that. There are some really good days. I think just it's all about finding the balance and just knowing that, things are moving forward and you just got to take things day by day.
Yeah, that's a great approach there, Vern. Thank you for sharing. And you mentioned you are a barista. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, in quarantine, not everyone's working, especially not outside.
Mhm.
And a barista is a job that, in fact, does require you to, step out of the safety of your home bubble. So I wanted to ask, how does work look like for you in quarantine?
No, yeah, definitely. So it wasn't like that the entire quarantine. I was actually at home not working for about a month. And then I started helping out again. And then my coffee shop actually opened up again. And I said that I personally was comfortable working. So we kind of got like retrained. And it's definitely very different than what we're used to. I mean, it goes without saying we're already practicing sanitization and just good customer service, things of that nature. Because when you're handling food and beverage, you want to make sure everything's clean and sanitized and everyone comes to work prepared and healthy. But in these circumstances, it's an adjustment period and things change like, weekly. We started with absolutely no customers allowed in the store. People get their order made and brought to them at the door. When we come in, not only do we have to be healthy and not have any symptoms or anything of that nature, we have to take our temperature every day and we have to wear facial coverings at all times, of course. We just started recently allowing customers back in, but a limited number, only 7 at a time as the maximum. And we also require them to wear facial coverings, not only for their safety, but our safety as well. And I'm also one of the supervisors, so I especially have to just make sure I keep eyes on everything because we have to think about everybody's safety and make sure that everybody feels comfortable working and that we are providing a clean and safe and also, like I said, comfortable environment for everybody that comes through.
Absolutely. And supervisor, well, congratulations on moving up in the world. But I wanted to ask, because you have to deal with, people coming in and, customer service in a time of plague,
Mhm.
right? Do you have any horror stories with bad customers you would like to share with us, the audience, that maybe kind of take us into a glimpse of how the worst of the people can look like?
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a horrific story at the moment, which is a good thing, I would say this might be like just a difficult situation. So we did have a customer come in that wasn't acknowledged, just walked over to because we have sections marked off on the floor that are 6 feet apart. And they just walked in on their own spot, didn't say anything to anyone. And covering. And so I was in the back doing some work when all of this was going on. And then I came on the floor and one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, could you please give that customer a mask because they don't have one?" Because we have masks for ourselves, but we also are allowed to give them out to people to keep, of course. And we can replace our own, as necessary. So I grabbed a mask just by the little ear strings and I was walking it over to them. And before I even got halfway, I didn't even get to get a word out and say like, "Oh, here you go. Like, no problem." They started to walk away to the exit and said, "Just bring me my order when it's done. I'm not wearing that." And so I'm like, okay. And so we finished the order, and it took me and another coworker to carry it out because they had quite a few items, and they were grateful. They said thank you, but I just wanted to remind them, for safety reasons and the policy, if you would like to come back inside the store in the future to make another order, we just require that you wear a mask. And I barely got to finish my sentence before they walked away without a word. So it's just one of those not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody's taking this the same way as we all are. And, it's kind of like one of those help me, help you situations. We're just trying to do the best we can. We're trying to operate, but safety is always the number one priority. And that's just one of those things that we have to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Safety is key, especially in tumultuous times like this. And for that customer, I tell, fuck you, dude. Just chill out and put on a mask once in a while.
Yeah.
Or have someone come and get your order for you if you can't or choose not to wear it.
Exactly. Or,
Too
I don't
good
know,
to
design
get
an
your
Android
Starbucks.
to pick up your Starbucks for you or something like that. But
Amazon
moving
Prime.
away from the negative side of things, I did want to ask you more on the positive side.
Yeah.
When you're
Here for
done
that.
with work, when you're done with dealing with shitheads in real life, endangering, people around them, when you come back, what is your happy place? What just brings you joy? What brings you comfort in these trying times? Because I know, I play video games, I eat shit food. That's what brings me comfort, right? But everyone's different. So I wanted to ask what sanctuary is yours?
Yeah, well, coffee does bring me joy. But when
Me
I
too.
come home, my housemates, who I've been friends with for years, their dogs are some of the best welcoming committee you could ever ask for. So to just have that greeting when I first walk in the door is always nice. I love dogs. And my dog is at my parents' house. So to have them there is really comforting. They're always happy to see you. I really try to do like self-care whenever I can, whether that be a face mask or a hair mask or a bath bomb, whatever it may be, something that just lets you relax and focus on you. You mentioned gaming. I do online game with my partner. And so that's always a fun time, and time just goes by. Like I look at the clock and I'm like, it's been 2 hours. And then we chat while we game too. So we get to converse and play at the same time.
Cool.
Also, I do also like to listen to music, listen to podcasts, watch other people game on YouTube,
That's fun.
or watch people put their makeup on. All that stuff
Absolutely.
is just a good time for me.
Huh.
That's really nice. And hey, if ever any other of your friends are looking for a podcast to listen to, this guy.
Glass panes.
Glass panes. Just like how I'm in inordinate pain all the time. Anyways, I do want to ask, finally, something completely unrelated to the quarantine. I've noticed your background, correct? So I can see you
Don't
are a
hide.
big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I'm assuming
too.
what is on everybody's mind. Who is your favorite character?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
Andy.
Let's see. Well, I've had 15 years to think about this.
Not
Well, I
enough
feel like
time.
I know. Yeah, it's been 15 years since the show came out. Well, there's definitely a huge pool of characters to choose from. Gotta love Appa and Momo.
Absolutely.
If I had to pick right now, I would have to say Zuko. And I think the reason for that is, spoilers alert, if anyone hasn't seen the show, Zuko, I feel like, has had such tremendous character development. If you think about where it all began, being banished from home at the age of 13 and having to figure out everything almost on his own,
Yeah.
and really, realizing that it was really what he wanted, and, not having his mother, and, he did have Uncle Iroh, the uncle we all deserve.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Who
would
went
love
through his
another
own
Iroh.
tragedies. He lost his only
Yeah.
son in the war.
Certainly.
So
Mhm.
just thinking about all that Zuko had to go through and kind of learn, and he finally decided on his own, like, this is not the path I want to be on. I want to be on the path of good. And, it took he had to make a lot of big decisions. He had to say goodbye to home again. You know,
Yeah.
he had to say
Yeah.
goodbye to his girlfriend for the moment. You know, there's a lot of change there, but I feel like, you know, all of that character development and, you know, and I'm not saying he didn't make bad decisions, because he definitely did, but I feel like it was all part of the process that finally led him to knowing this is the right thing to do and this is what I'm going to do to help.
Absolutely. Very well put. If
Yeah.
anyone was looking for character analysis from Avatar: The Last Airbender, you got some of that tonight.
That
It's a
was
good
great.
start.
I just like the swamp people.
Yeah,
Of course
they
you
are
would,
powerful
Derek.
benders.
Of course
Yeah.
you would.
Cool dudes.
Thank you, Vern, though, for humoring us and coming onto our podcast at such rapid notice.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Oh, of course, anytime. And hey, if you ever need a place to just vent and we don't have any guests, we can always reach out. Anyways,
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you for coming out on Glass Panes. We do appreciate your contributions.
Mhm.
Stay classy and have a great night.
Thank you, you too. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Goodbye.
All right, Derek. End the line. Any closing thoughts?
Well, I mean, we learned a lot today. I think with all your guests, we got to hear about Chris's camming routines, and Bailey's Overwatch streams, and how they both feel, you know, empowered by doing things they're good at.
Yeah.
And Vern seems to be working hard and being dedicated during this time, and
Absolutely.
she's making the best of it. She seems to be having a great life, great quality, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It was a very positive podcast. A lot of good, and looking forward in the pandemic rather than, you know, looking behind and looking up at the bad, which, you know, what, sometimes I guess we need a little bit of. Anyways,
You're right,
to all our viewers out there, thank you for coming up to Glass Panes. We really do appreciate your time and your viewership, and we hope to catch you on next week's episode. It was great hosting. It is me, Andy Armstrong, and Derek Demoran. Good night, everybody. Stay classy.
Good night. And we're clear.
Oh my God! Finally, Jesus Christ! Woo! That was
What a
tiring,
show.
dude.
Yeah, good job, Andy. Great job.
No, dude, good job to you. You did excellent today.
Oh, thank you. I like your microphone. It really accentuates your, you know, that Andy Armstrong sort of tone.
The voice. I mean, I wouldn't have it without you. I mean, you sent this over. I mean, I'm borrowing this shit for
It's good, right? You like it?
It is really, really nice. And I mean, again, thank you for this shit, Derek. And
of course, man.
You know what? Thanks for everything else. You know, you just helping out with all my projects and being there, and you know, being a great and loyal friend. You know, even past that, of course. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, Derek, thank you for just being you and being there for me. You know.
My pleasure, man. Seriously, you letting me work on the projects and just, you know, we're such good friends. You know, every time I talk to you, it's just like, I know this guy. This guy is crazy. I'm so grateful to know you, Andy.
Hey, not as grateful as I am to know you, my dude.
And you're gonna be such a huge success. I think you're gonna go on to do great things. Seriously, if this is what you're doing now, you're gonna launch into the stratosphere.
Hey, Derek, I'm only going to be as successful as you support me, my dude. And
I will.
Thanks, Derek.
Of course, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I know do you want to say something?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Sorry. I know we've been busy working on the show and lining up the guests and everything, that we haven't really, and Overwatch, we haven't really talked since my birthday. And I remember what you said about, you know, the seasons changing, and like we're coming into a new season, holidays, new environments, the weather's going to change, just everything. And like,
you remember that?
Yeah, of course, man. I remember everything you tell me. It means a lot. And I was thinking about it. And you know, like how in the seasons there's always, you know, a specific weather for it, or there's always, you know, like hot or cold. I feel like right now we're all having a bad time, right? Quarantine's, it's just rough, and it sucks. You know, we don't get to hang out as much anymore. This is the only time we get to talk, really. But like, what if we're just in the blistering heat of it right now, you know? But it's temporary. The season will end, and we're gonna find a new one. The world spins around. We get new years, new months, new days. Every second is a time for change, for a new chance, for opportunity. And so long as you and I are friends, you know, and Bailey and Chris, this thing we got going, I think our opportunities are just going to grow and grow and grow, and we're going to become better for it, stronger, happier. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I love you, brother.
Hey, dude. I love you too, man. You're just, I'm just so glad you decided to join film club sophomore year.
Best decision of my life, next to Mercery.
Mercology. But yeah, hey, again, thanks. Like, really, it means a lot. Everything that you do for both me and my friend group and my work, and I can't imagine me being where I am without you.
And you, Andy. And you.
I'm sorry, that sounds really fucking cheesy, but
no, yeah, I loved it. No, seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
The world
for sure.
Man. It really does.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, I gotta go get dinner.
Yeah, you know what? I should probably shower up.
I'm hungry as fuck, but I will see you on Overwatch very soon. Is that right?
Let's do it. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Just you, me, and Bailey and Chris.
Hell
just
yeah.
Chilling. No streams.
Just chilling out. No streams. Just the four of us having a great time. Anyways, thank you again for this episode and for everything that you're doing, Derek. You're an awesome dude.
So are you, Andy. Never forget it. I love you, man.
I won't. See you, man. Captain's log, June 6th, 2020. What a crazy fucking night. I mean, episode 3 of Glass Panes went off without a hitch. I mean, golly. Honestly, a great time, and I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish. Me and Derek, obviously, just a great time. God, I had waffles for breakfast. What am I saying? I know you're not going to judge me, Captain's log, so I guess I can be open with you. I mean, you're just a fucking phone, voice memo, whatever. I guess I wanted to just maybe say a few words about today, and specifically about the people that surround me. Let's just do this in list form, I guess. Chris, honestly, what a great, talented individual, and someone that has taught me a lot about how to myself, if that makes any sense. Just someone that's looking out for you, even if you don't always know it. And all that camming and stuff, and her courage and confidence. I mean, God, I wish I had some of that. And then there's obviously Derek, great fucking guy. I mean, truly, and a friend and a brother and someone that is more than just someone you pass by and say hi to and then play games with. Someone that you can really count on their kindness and their loyalty. And I told him that I don't know what I would do if he wasn't there and where I would be without his presence. Yeah. And then there's Bailey. I mean, thank God everything got patched up, and thank you, Chris, for doing that if you can hear me. But just being able to talk with her and be in the same room, and by room I mean screen, as her, and just being together like old times. That was something that was really, really, really neat. Nice. Whatever the word is, I guess. Just I really, really do hope that I will be able to go bar hopping with her and just share a pint and a laugh, as they say. Yeah. But yeah, that's it, really, I guess. I guess last thing I wanted to talk about um, is what Bailey said about hope. When I was growing up, and even now, hope was always taught to me to be somewhat of a distraction, something that was, in the way of reality, something that you're not allowed to do yourself. You're supposed to work hard and focus on your career and do what you need to do to get forward in life, whatever that fucking means. And I guess I've lost sight of what makes life important, and what where I should put my values in. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that hope is something that I need, something that I can't just fucking ignore. Anyways, I haven't been hoping a lot lately, especially with everything that's been going on. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm ready to hope again. I'm ready to hope again. And Captain's log.
Hi. We're going to be having a talk back following the performance tonight. We're going to give you a couple minutes to shift around, move around if you need to, get some water, let our cast get some water if they need to, especially Jeremy talking for the last 10 to 15 minutes. We will start the talk back at 9:25, so please be sure to stick around. If you're still hanging out with us and haven't gone to get some water, you can drop your questions in the chat. We can start collecting them and we can populate them there so that we can answer them for you. If you have any questions for our lovely cast here or for me, I am the director of this and stage manager. What stage, but you know what I mean. And any questions that you might have for our tech people, I can try to answer them to the best of my ability. Are you unbuttoning your button-down shirt?
I'm buttoning it up.
Buttoning it up because you unbuttoned it earlier.
I see.
Andy has it unbuttoned. Jeremy needs to bring it back up here.
Jeremy's a little shy.
Jeremy's a little shyer than Andy. Okay. Cool. David, you doing all right, buddy?
Yeah, I peed.
Good. Good for you.
Did it. Did the thing.
Hold on just 1 second. Okay, well, yeah, that's not 25 yet, so let's just vibe. They can watch us
Hang
vibe.
out.
That's fun,
Sure.
right? They just watched like 4 hours of you four just vibing. What's one more of just me?
Yeah, exactly.
One more real hangout.
Guys, this Nintendo Switch has been sat on my bed for a month now, and I have not charged it.
What?
David Letman,
Yeah.
do you
David,
know how many people would
it
kill
works-
for that Nintendo Switch?
It works as a good mirror, because like I look at it, and it's just me.
No, you can't say that.
David Letman!
Why don't you?
I'm kidding.
Why aren't
I'm
you on
kidding.
the Animal Crossing squad, David?
I can't afford Animal Crossing. I
David,
have, I have
David.
Mario Kart, and that's
Oh,
it. I
David.
can't even afford the online membership.
Come on, mate.
Also, just as a thing to all of our viewers, we will be ending the talkback at 9:55 sharp because a couple of our members have things to do tomorrow, and we would like to get on with the inevitable party that we're going to have after
Inevitable.
the
I need
show.
to pee real bad.
Party?
Jeremy, you have 3
Yeah, I
minutes,
peed
go.
already. I yield my pee to Jeremy.
I love you too, Gina. Gina, you're amazing.
Oh, Gina, I love you.
I love you, Gina. I love everyone watching this right now.
Yes, Ian. A, B, C, D. You got it.
Yeah.
Gina,
Don't answer
Gina,
the
what do you
questions.
want me
We're
to
saving
send
that
to
for
you?
the talkback. Shush.
Fuck.
9:25. If you want to ask us deep personal questions, though, that's
We'll
all
answer
game
those.
for 2
We'll
minutes.
be here answering questions until 9:55 sharp.
Ray Cordova has entered the waiting
Five,
room.
and then we're turning the goddamn Q&A.
Oh, yeah, we should probably bring Ray in.
Can we vibe
Yes,
with Ray?
yes. Let's get Ray in
Ray!
here.
We do love
Let
Ray
me-
Cordova.
Let me copy that invite link.
Should I admit him, Kudra?
The whole chat just got to see me copy the invite link.
Sick. Should I admit Ray?
Ray, I'm sending it to you on Discord.
He's already in the waiting room, Kudra.
Oh, he is. I'm a fool.
Yeah. Should I
There we
admit
go.
him?
No, I got him.
Okay, cool.
Way ahead of you, buddy. Way ahead of you.
Oh, there he is. Discord.
Ooh, the Pokemon. He's already in the waiting room.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Vern.
Hi, Ray
is-
and Vern. Oh my god,
Vern,
and all of us
fantastic
fit
job.
on the screen? Wow, amazing.
Amazing.
Okay.
It was meant to be.
Wow, this is
Truly.
wild.
Alright, so
This
we're
is
just
a
waiting on the
tiny
return of
pack.
one Jeremy, and then we will begin this good talk back.
It's good talk back. Good Christian talk back.
How are you doing today, Ray? I've
How
talked to
are you?
everybody else in this chat, but
I'm doing all right. I'm very,
liked it.
very happy with the season finale. It was an
Okay.
exciting episode.
oh good. Glad to
Glad.
did all the plot lines tie themselves up like you hoped they would?
They did, and
Good.
I have a lot of questions, or I have like some yeah.
Cool. Well, Well,
Just
we'd
We have
love
a
to hear 'em,
fanboy.
so
We have a frame of mind fanboy.
Oh yeah. I've been here talking about merch, you know.
apparently, yeah.
Love that.
All
Ray,
right.
Glasses Bros. Respect. Vern, Glasses Bros.
Oh my god.
Respect.
Glasses Bros.
It's just the row of the glasses kids.
Oh yeah, you all in a row.
All y'all nerds with 20/20 vision are missing out.
Oh, you know what? I've always wanted glasses, but Jeremy's back, so we're gonna kick this off. The first question that came in the chat was, "What was your inspiration for telling this story?" Any of y'all want to just take off with that?
Oh God.
I think with this show, it's kind of hard to pin down one. This is a series, right? This is a 4-parter. So we got to play with these characters for a very long time and explore different themes in each episode. So I think there are multiple inspirations, at least for me, from where I drew from. This episode, there was this theme about change and hope. Episode 2 was about confrontation and kind of maybe the uglier sides of life on the internet and quarantine. And yeah, I think it's hard to pin down a singular source for this show.
Yeah, I think my original idea, we were really focusing on thinking about how people change themselves and the way they present themselves and their spaces between the different perspectives and the people they're talking to. And we kind of hoped that we could create really real people and tell you a story while also kind of exploring that. And there was a large piece of this that we came together for sanity reasons. To like hang out and produce art and make sure we didn't go crazy. Which was a pretty good experience. Gina, I'm wearing my wine bottle earrings to answer your question there. Does anyone else have any other answer for what inspired us? Oh my god, Steve Cam, everyone alert, Steve Cam.
Hi, Steve.
Steve Cam.
I guess another big inspiration was just like we all know each other and are friends outside of this show, and I think like for all of us, like our interactions online as a group has been super helpful for our mental health in quarantine. And I remember early in the process we talked a little bit about just bringing that sense of community out into a public space would be a really nice thing to do during these times.
Yeah.
Totally.
God. When Kudra first approached us about the show, she just had sort of a notion, which was she wanted to represent the different backgrounds that people, live in online, because that's all we have now. This has to be our space, our realistic space. And we had 4 characters. I was Derek, Jeremy was Andy, Laura was Bailey, and Claire was Chris. And we sort of gave life to these characters. We gave them a few attributes, and then we just literally spent a day in their shoes. We vibed as them, like the way you do it. And it was really enlightening for us and eye-opening. And I think the reason that this question is so difficult to answer is because we all found our own meanings in our characters the same exact way. We all have different attachments to the show. We all come up with different things after every rehearsal, after every improv session, after every show day. And I think that's just why it's so difficult to answer, because there's so many things that the show reminds us about and speaks to us for.
Yeah.
And yeah.
She is so eloquent.
Is she me?
Yeah, she is you. MPGOS reference. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next question is, who chose your names? I did. I chose the AB. I wanted alliterative names. I really wanted AA, BB, CC, and DD. And my original plan was to have them go in alphabetical order in the episodes, but then it made the most sense to switch D and A. So we mixed it up and didn't really pay attention to that. I gave them the options to change their name, and they were just all like, "Ah, that's the one. That's the name." So
yeah.
Laura accidentally changed her name. Why don't you say that, Laura?
Yeah, it was Baxter, and I changed it to Baxton because I just said it so often, and then we just rolled with it.
We just rolled with it. It's your name. I don't care. That was just an idea.
yeah.
I just really wanted alliterative names. That just spoke to me for some reason.
Felt good.
Yeah.
And of course, it was hilarious that we had Claire and Chris and David and Derek. That caused so many slip-ups.
Especially when there's the bit already with David's name where...
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, they call me.
His name is just D names forever.
These guys call me everything but my actual name. so acting as somebody with a name not like my actual one was not that hard.
If we say Duncan, it's probably Derek.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Okay, let me search through this chat for some more questions. One says, what are your darkest secrets? I think we should settle on that one for a while. Let's think about that, ruminate, marinate a little bit. Ian Larson asks, David and Jeremy, if you were to dye your hair, what color would it be?
Shiza.
See, I wouldn't dye my hair, but if I did, I think I would go for like a platinum blonde, something on like the whitish like gray side. I don't know about you, David.
I don't know. I'm trying to picture myself as Quicksilver. I was like, would that work?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna look old, but whatever.
Perfect.
I'll do it.
That'll do.
And
okay.
if you want to dye my hair silver, you can.
Yeah.
Next time I see you.
Give this video 100 likes, and David will dye his hair silver.
All right. Well.
Do it. Like it now. Keep it
like
coming.
this video, share it.
Subscribe.
Okay, the next question comes from Joel Moore. Joel Moore says, what would the average rehearsal process look like, especially in regards to the creation of the script? Anybody want to take on that beast of a question?
Well, I think it's interesting because there are obviously like things in the beginning of the process that we were given, right? Which I think helped at least me a lot. The basic relationships, the very bones, like just the spine. You know what I mean? And I think the rehearsal, at least for me, was trying to build around that spine. And the script was basically us improvising what worked, what didn't, and just kind of trying to go in and seeing how do we make these fundamental relationships work with the characters that we are crafting in real time, right? And also, I think it's cool to point out that Andy episode 1 is not Andy in episode 3. And not just like plot wise, but like fundamentally, I think when I was working through with the character, the voice slightly changed, the expression slightly changed, every little detail changed, which I think is also a testament to Kruger's wonderful direction and letting us be like really creative in the space and just play with what we can and what we have. And yeah, it was as much a creation of the script as much as just a pure acting exercise.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and we had lots of really good discussions in the beginning about our characters and just like kind of bouncing off each other for like ideas about like connections to our relationships, like how do we feel about certain things, specific things, like things in the world, things relating to us. And I definitely know that like some things with my character were just like struck a chord for this current time period, and I think it also did for a lot of us. And that was really neat because it wasn't even the characters. We didn't pick the characters and their circumstances.
Yeah. I thought I noticed as we went along the rehearsal process, we started after the first episode premiered, we started doing about an episode a week. We spent the first like 4 weeks really fleshing out the characters and doing episode 1 because it was like getting into it, testing the waters as it were. And once we were like submerged in episode 1, it was really easy for us to just keep trucking and producing episodes and that sort of thing. I've noticed that as the process has gone along, the script, quote unquote, which is really just like a Google Doc with a bunch of notes on it and an outline of like plot points to hit if you feel like it. The Google Docs got shorter and shorter and shorter. Like each episode, the outline got a little smaller. And you guys were able to fill in a lot more of that because the characters like took on such a life of their own. I gave these 4 some names, and a couple of character dynamics, and they created this, which is insane to me. So big claps for these 4 very talented, crazy actors. Yeah, that was awesome. The doc for this episode, I think, is about a half a page. Am I wrong in saying that? I think it's
roughly.
Yeah.
Put into it.
Yeah, and half
There's
of
a
it is
section
like
that's
Claire
like
messing around with fonts. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Episode 2 had a really long plan out, but that's because of the Overwatch games.
Exactly. We had to organize it by game and that sort of thing. Yeah, it was a whole thing. All right, let me check this chat. Wow, I can't find anything. Oh, Annika O'Donnell says, why AVCD rather than GCAT? Because I'm not a Homestuck. Moving on. Okay,
Sure,
Anvil
Kudra.
and Iceforge asks us, why wasn't this gay?
Honestly, the very first rehearsal, Kudra was like, all right, A and B need to have like a romantic tension. I was like, what if D and A?
What if DNA?
I really wanted, in my defense, I really wanted the romance that happened in this show to be like straight passing. Just because I think that the thing that happens in quarantine where like someone in a relationship, it's not confined to straight people, obviously, but they're in a flirtationship and someone takes it a little too far. That happens a lot in straight couples.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just the vibe. It was just the vibe. We were
straight people be crazy.
No, I definitely agree about. I feel like it because so much of this was not initially planned. Like we didn't know where Andy and Bailey would be at the end. There was originally no plan for Chris and Derek to even have a joking thing at all.
Nope.
That
was you, the audience.
That was
That's your
literally
fault.
you.
That is your fault. Chris X Derek is your fault, audience.
That never crossed my mind. Not once.
Yeah, and I definitely think a big part of the Andy Bailey question when things first started out was that whole like that forced heterosexuality. Like that is something I think a lot of female male friendships experience in our society, is that like oh, like are we really good friends, or
is there something more?
even if there really isn't anything behind that.
Exactly.
Definitely.
There's this idea that like men and women can't be friends outside of a relationship, and that idea is dying down now as we
Really
become the people that run the
bunk.
world. But that is
bunk.
still a very like boomer ideal that lives in our society in the way we perceive male-female relationships. You are so much more eloquent than I am, Laura. You should answer every question.
I think it's just such an internalized thing. I think that happens.
It absolutely is.
I love us. We're great.
Can I ask a
Anyways.
follow-up question?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Go for it.
So it seems like the process was very free and open and improvisational. And I almost feel like there's actually 5 characters in this piece. And there's the 4 that we have right here, and the 5th is the chat. And so I'm just curious, like how much did the chat actually influence, and how much was paid attention to what they were? How much did they force? Like what happened with the chat and the show that you didn't expect?
So much.
We pay very close attention to the chat. We play very close attention to the chat. Kind of y'all's perspective was what I was really looking for, especially in the first 2 episodes when things were still kind of filling themselves out. We really wanted to see what the audience would pull out, because we have the first 2 episodes alone are 2 hours of content. That's a lot of content. So we were really wondering what were the meaty bits that you guys would pull out of this long like vibe section that you were watching. So we paid a lot of attention to the chat. At least I did, because I have the luxury of sitting here and watching everything because I've got my 2 screens and I'm the backstage person. I'm wondering how you 4 think about that.
Yeah.
I think Andy was probably the least affected by the chat. So I can't really speak on that too well, other than providing Andy with the fodder for a lot of his banter and jokes. A lot of the bits that the audience either caught on or made up themselves were great material for Andy to later implement later in the series.
Yeah, I would definitely say like Bailey as a character was definitely influenced by the chat, especially episode 2. Like until we knew what was actually going to be said in chat, especially in that last bit, like I didn't know how Bailey would react. And once I ended up kind of like developing how that occurred, like that completely influenced the conversation between Bailey and Chris in episode 3. Like there's Monty.
Monty's being a rat bastard, isn't he?
Sorry, I'm
Steve is
sorry.
Monty,
He
by the way.
ran outside, got the door open, and ran outside, and now he jumped into the beverage cabinet.
This is the only technical difficulty we've had
This
today.
is the only technical difficulty we've had this
Insane.
episode, so God
And it's a fucking
bless.
cat. So-
Fuck Instagram for the heart attack it gave me and Kuchra. Fuck Instagram.
That's a perfect segue because someone asked, I don't know who, but somebody asked. Oh, Gina Barba asks,
We love
which
Gina
was the
Barba.
most stressful platform to use from the tech perspective? Instagram.
Instagram.
I despise Instagram Live. I will never be performing on there ever fucking again. It was a absolute nightmare, especially when you add in the added factor of ResNet being garbage, because Claire lives in a trailer on campus. So there was just, wow, we had a heart attack that night. Claire,
Yeah,
Claire's in my germ circle. We see each other
It was real
frequently
rough.
because Claire lives alone. So I was able to be in the trailer that night for the performance. And I think
Thank
if I
God.
hadn't been in that trailer, things would have gone a lot lot
I don't think we would have
hate
even
Instagram
had a
Live.
Chris Andy section at that point if you were
Yeah.
there.
A
Episode
disaster.
3.5 would be it would
A
be there.
disaster. Anyways, the best one, the one that we've had the best experience with so far is probably Twitch. And YouTube has been great too, but Twitch was really, it ran really smoothly once you figure out the tech. The figuring out of the tech had some fiddling, but once you figured it out, it is easy peasy. So
Yeah.
I
Hey,
highly
YouTube,
recommend Twitch and YouTube.
if you want to monetize us and give Kudra some bucks,
That would slap.
that would slap.
That would slap.
We'll create more mindless entertainment for you. More mindful.
Indeed. Okay. So Annika O'Donnell says, so how much of the overall story were planned? Basically, how much was set before the final captain's log? The final captain's log was an idea we had like halfway through this week. So
Yeah. The captain's log inception was I found a voice recorder in my room and I was like, huh, what if I do this, Kudra? She
yeah.
was like, yes, do it. And then
I needed a way to have Derek talk to himself for a minute there because it was a little quiet in that long stretch and we needed a bit of voice interlude. And so I'm like, all right, do you inner monologue, captain's log, something like that. So, and then it just kind of fit at the end of episode 4 that we closed with a captain's log the way we began with one. So that was pretty cool. I don't remember whose idea that was. I want to high five whoever's idea that was.
I think it was German. No, I don't know.
High five whoever did that.
Mine was the second captain's log, but not the first.
Yes.
I can't take credit for the first captain's monologue. That is a very smart idea, and I'm not that smart. So.
All right. Well. Okay.
I came up with that. Yeah.
Let's find out. Everybody says Derek said gay rights. And Derek...
I did. I'll say it now. Gay rights.
Oh my God. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if there's an actual real question. Claire, was your cat in the cabinet? Yes.
Yeah, so he was in the cabinet.
For what?
Yeah.
I left it open because I don't know why. I just did it by accident, I guess. And he decided to jump in there. He's in bastard mode tonight.
Crazy guy.
Okay, we finally got another question from Joel Moore again. Joel says, "What is the internal dynamic between Derek and Andy supposed to illuminate? Is their relationship healthy?"
Yes.
Very. I love it.
I'd say it's healthy. I don't think there is a toxic bone in the relationship, even though Andy is quite a piece of shit sometimes. At least personally, I think for me, Andy and Derek were kind of this symbolism of family in quarantine outside of your family. I think Derek and Andy kind of maybe don't share the most between each other, but I think they're so close together. And, Derek is basically Andy's brother. And it's just, for me, it highlighted just how strong human, just friendships and bonds can be, especially, over distance and in, the circumstances we're living in today.
Yeah, definitely. I let's see. For the last few rehearsals, Kudra's been talking about this evolution that I wasn't really implementing, or I didn't really pick up on it, but sort of Derek used to idolize Andy. Andy was just such a great guy, very talented, very proactive, very creative, and he loved him to death. He would compliment him, he would raise him up, he would defend him to his last breath. And throughout the course of this show, the playing ground has sort of been leveled uh, through Derek's actions and through what he and Andy and Bailey and Chris all go through together. Andy garners this sort of respect for Derek, this mutual sort of admiration. And at the end, I feel like that we left off here. They're more equals. I mean, Derek still has his inclinations towards Andy. He still thinks he's amazing, but now Andy sees Derek in sort of a different light as well, than it was sort of just like admire, but never like having substance of his own.
Yeah.
And by the end of this, Derek has at least a little substance of his own. And I've known people, where you idolize them and they never give you the time of day, or they never reciprocate. And by the end of this, Andy reciprocates. Anyway, Jeremy, come on.
And I think the evolution is very reminiscent of a lot of older brother, younger brother type situations, especially when the age gap is maybe larger than say 4 years. There's this older brother who's like a mentor and someone that's out there to help that the person that they care about. But eventually, the little brother grows up, and I think that's what happens at the end of this show, at least for me.
Like that, Jeremy.
That's a very good way to put it. I think I really do see their relationship as like a brothers. They love each other very, very much.
So all y'all shipping us? It's incest. Don't do it.
Incest.
Okay?
Don't do it. Don't ship
Don't
them.
do it.
It's
Don't do it.
incest. Don't do it.
Please.
I have a question I was texted by an anonymous source who's
Oh, okay.
asking, why did we choose to do realism
Ooh.
in this quarantine time?
I
It's
have
bad
the answer for
quarantine.
that.
I thought you'd like that question, Kudra.
I do.
Fuck you. Go away.
I've never directed realism before. The last show that I directed was really theatrical and comedic and that sort of thing. And then the show before that was theatrical in the opposite way, where it was really dark and sharp and like edgy and that sort of thing. So I think we really wanted to give this a try. And also, I think that right now, reality sucks. In order to cope with reality sucking, we've kind of created a reality that doesn't suck that bad, and that we can kind of move into these characters where they're preoccupied with each other and their dynamics, and so that we can kind of go there and get away from our preoccupations and our dynamics and what's going on in our daily lives. It's like how scientists like recently confirmed that parallel universes exist.
Bonkers.
That. All right.
Remember
Okay.
that happened like 2 weeks ago.
True.
Can you imagine that? That's fucking no time at all.
For real.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. The Kid Doctor 124 says, "Have you had any prior experiences with improv?" Actors.
Yeah, I've flunked every single improv audition I've ever done.
Terrifies me more, and this was a really good practice for that.
Yeah. Also no real improv experience.
Yeah,
Outside of
I did short form improv all of high school basically, and I was actually the captain of my team. So
Big man.
very different experience. But I think the improv we did here is so fundamentally different from short form. Short form, you're like throwing around like a bit or two in like a minute, and the game is over, right? And this, I mean, this is a completely different ballgame. You have to have a character, and you have to be prepared, and you actually need to know who you are playing in this kind of setting. Because again, in short form, you're gonna play, I don't know, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger for like a second, and make a joke, and then disappear, and that's it, right? This is completely different in how you approach the art, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really interesting coming to rehearsal on days that it was harder for people to get into character. Like I know one of the rehearsals we had for this week's show, I just like could not get into Bailey at all. And then like the next day, it felt so much better. Like it was just a complete dynamics change.
Yeah. The vibes have to be right.
They do.
Vibe had to be right. Yeah, it was very challenging.
Yes.
What was the like process of getting into your character? Do you have like a thing you did, or like?
At least for me, like it's just like having a little bit of banter right before rehearsal with these guys really did it. Usually what would happen was Jeremy would just start like boasting like over dramatically, and then the rest of us could just shit on him about that, and that was honestly it.
That's called character work.
Jeremy's ego went.
It was really fun. Jeremy's generally a pretty humble dude, so to see you get to be this like big, like egotistical character who's
Bravado,
still got
man,
that heart of gold inside was really fun. Really, really fun. Robert Jeffrey says, did this feel like performing in person? What was similar and different? We also have about 4 minutes left in this talkback, so if you have any last minute rapid fire questions, please throw them in the chat right now. But yeah, how did this
favorite
feel
meat
like
is salami.
How was this similar or different to performing in person?
One thing that like it's super different like right away is like when you are performing, there is such like a protected space almost, like, you know, you're on stage and you're away from the audience, but not just that, like you have like a specific Monty, swear to God, there's like this like set space where you are and you don't do anything else, and it's like the only place you go to. Whereas when you're performing from home, and it's like the same experience, it's like going to class from home, in that like there's so much happening like around you. Like I'm fighting my freaking cat trying to do a Q&A. I would never have to do that on stage. And so that's like one major thing. It's like, even though that separation from the audience is still like intact, it's a whole other atmosphere. And in a way, it's kind of hard to like, sometimes it's hard to get into the actor mood, like not mood, but like the actor mode, like that like work mindset. Because you step into the theater and there's like all the theater smells and like, you know, you're ready to work. It's like a different you. So pulling that out of yourself becomes like way more like cognitive in a way.
Rock and roll.
Definitely.
There are like 3-ish more questions in the chat, and I'm going to push 2 of them together. Annika says, I remember you, me, because Annika's my friend, telling me about how Meisner techniques has influenced you and some of your friends. How did it influence this work? And the second question that kind of goes with that is like, when most of the acting training that you have learned is about being in the same room and connecting to each other, which is very Meisner, how do you teach it online? How do you connect like that online?
Well, shout out first of all to Gregory Fritch, an absolutely wonderful human being and teacher.
An absolute legend. An absolute legend.
I haven't taken that class, but I would love to.
You better.
You'll meet him this summer.
Yeah. I think just real quick, I think with Meisner, I think the type of acting is actually very transferable to a medium like this, because it isn't for me, it isn't necessarily about the same space. It's about the person. Being able to connect with individuals that you're acting with, you know, in the Meisner way. I'm not going to get into it because that's, you know, a full course.
Sure is.
But just being, you know, having, you know, the energy and you know, the drive of the actor, you know, to build off of, for me, didn't matter whether it was in person or digitally. There's obviously like a few day transition period, but after that, everything clicked, and I'm like, okay, this is just, you know, acting, but in a different medium.
Yeah, I think ditto for that. 4 of us all took Meisner together. I was really impressed by David's ability to just fall into that. Like, it felt like he'd taken the class with us.
Truly, you dove right in. And that commitment is the key. So big ups to you on that one, David. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you guys. I love you.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have 1 minute left and we have one question remaining, and I am very excited to answer it. Miss Gina Barba asks, what are the character signs?
Oh, wait, we know this.
Andy is an Aries.
Yes. Oh,
Huh? No, I'm telling them because I know. Andy is an Aries. David is a Cancer, but Derek is a Taurus.
I'm a Cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, Ray, emotional.
Derek's birthday is May 16th, the day that we opened. Chris is a Virgo, because duh. And Bailey's a Sagittarius, and Laura has a Sag moon, so that worked out real fun and good. So, yeah. So, yeah. Any last questions from Ray and / or Vern? Thank you so much for helping us produce this amazing work. You've been the best barn directors that I've seen since being here at UCSC, and I am forever indebted to you for allowing me this space to create this quarter, last quarter, and forever. So, thank you.
You're going to be better than us.
It's been amazing.
We're very excited.
It's been amazing. And for those of you who don't know, this is our last show of the season. So I think it's a wonderful way to wrap everything up. And we're just so proud of everybody, and everyone's done amazing work. And we're really happy, and we have a lot of great memories to look back on. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
We love you guys. You're going to be immortalized at the barn.
I love you.
For sure.
Well, I don't know what to call you anymore. Are you Derek or David?
It's David. That's David.
Duncan. That's Duncan.
Duncan is also acceptable.
Just call him Duncan.
Ray, I'm so glad you were my TA for my first acting class. And now you were the barn director, I found out. And I was like,
And shout out to Vern for coming on the show this week. Yay! Thank you so much for
fun.
For doing that for us. I'm so glad that we could give you like a little spotlight, a little shout out. So
right? I got to act with Vern. That's cool.
Well, that's our show.
It was fun.
So thanks everyone for watching. Share this video when it goes live tomorrow.
We should thank Eliza and Kevin and Damien.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram for whatever we're doing next. This is the last episode of this show, unfortunately, so we will not be returning under Frame of Mind, but I'm sure that this group of people will create together very soon. So
Shout out to our designers. We're awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.